Test. It's working. Okay. Welcome everyone to this Final Fantasy race here on Speed Gaming. So tonight we have Shinbreakerseven versus Leonis. And they are currently doing the equipment glitch at Gardens. Talking to Gardens. So let's see how this race will go. So looks like Leonis has Garland down at 250. Pretty decent. Good RNG so far. Oh no, not yet. Thanks, Fiesel. Let's check. Okay. Commentary is not working, Fiesel. No compatible source was found for this video. Okay. Then I'll use multi-switch for now. Unless you know a pretty quick way to fix this. Okay. So right now both players are at the cutscene. So the race is slowly getting underway. Just a nice little break. Catch your breath. Praying for good RNG. Check your phone. So after this cutscene, the runners get on their way. A couple of steps before they get into the next cutscene, but this cutscene is skippable. It's the PSP version is the first version with a cutscene at the bridge, which is skippable. So it allows for a relatively quick passage of the bridge. So right now the runners make their way to Pravoka. Leonis getting the full crazy horse encounter, but running away relatively quickly, so that's good luck, because those things, if you have normal encounters, those things tend to hit you before you're able to run away. Leonis so far getting decent, somewhat decent luck on the encounters. He's now on a full wolf encounter, which is somewhat slow. It's hard, especially in the early parts of the game, it's hard to run away from wolves. Because they have high agility in packs, and you still don't have as high as an agility to consistently run away from those. Leon is now entering the pirate fight, and well, the pirate fight is easy. Just takes a swing from the judgment staff to bring those down. And he's getting a 6-10 pirate kill. It's pretty nice, and Shinbreaker is following closely behind. So right now, both runners get the ship, as allows them to travel across the waters, makes them able to get to places, to progress through the stories, because first part of the game, after saving the princess, is mostly a fetch quest. You need to, because you need a ship to get to the crystals, but you also need the canal opened. For the canal to be opened, you need the nitro powder, but to get to the nitro powder, you need the mystic key. For the mystic key, you need the jolt tonic. For the jolt tonic, you need the crystal eye. For the crystal eye, you need to beat the Estos, and to beat Estos, you need the crown. So right now, both runners are making their way towards the crown in Marsh Cave. And this is the most RNG heavy part of the run, since they can't consistently run away from encounters. Leonis is going for the early gold needle pickup, looks like. There are basically two moments where you can choose to pick up gold needles. You can do it now on your way to Marsh Cave, but you can also do it after you received the mystic key in Elfheim Castle. Then it's a short stop in town afterwards, and you get slightly more gold needles, and there's almost no difference time-wise between the routes. Although late gold needle pickup is slightly faster, I think. I'm not completely sure. Both runners getting several wolf encounters, but as for now, Shinbreaker is slightly ahead due to the routing choice to not pick up the gold needles now. And he's now in Marsh Cave. Thanks Nikki for the heads up. Indeed, the early gold needle pickup saves 3 steps, and the other one saves only 1 step. So it's slightly faster to pick it up early. It's 2 steps in town. It's negligible, basically. So right now, Shinbreaker is at the spike tile in front of the chest containing the crown. This spike tile contains Pisco demons. You can't run away from Pisco demons. They're unrunnable encounters in this game, but they go down easily with the Judgment 7. Ooh, Shinbreaker almost forgot to pick up the crown from the chest, so he went down already, and he had to trigger the spike tile once again. Spike tile remains even after you've beaten the enemies on it. So if you step on it again, you get the same enemy again. You can get slightly different configurations, but that's all. And Shinbreaker got a sub 10 crown. pretty decent. For Leonis, it's a little bit harder to say because he spent some time in town. But overall, he's on good pace. Both runners are. You'll see the routes converge basically after picking up the Mystic Key in Elfheim Castle, which will happen in, well, about 8 minutes. Shinbreaker encountering a difficult encounter with the crawlers. The group encounter with the crawlers are slightly and the encounter with zombies and ghouls, which he has now are the harder encounters to run away from. But he got away relatively fast, so he should be fine. So right now they have the crown. They make their way to the castle in the north to fight Astos and obtain the crystal eye. Leonis is catching up slightly towards Shinbreaker. He's getting some pretty clean encounter luck on his way out. So right now Shinbreaker is at Astos. The king NPC won't do anything until you've gotten the crown. So if he would have forgotten to pick up the crown, then basically he said the king NPC there says go get the crown, and you have to you have to go all the way back. Looks like every party member for Shinbreaker survived the Astos onslaught so far. Only got a physical hit, so that's good. That's because Astos can cast the death spell on one of your party members, and if it's one of the mages, it's pretty bad because the mages deal the most damage at this point. So it can cost you. It can cost you a round in battle if you're unlucky, and for leveling purposes, it slightly offsets your leveling curve for your party, as one of the members is missing some experience. This will make itself up later because we're relatively early in the run. But it can be inconvenient. Looks like Leonis got a death spell cast and it missed the warrior, so his full party survives. He's fine as well. So Shinbreaker is making his way towards the ship, and he will make his way to Matoya's cave. Matoya is a wizard who is capable. So basically, the story is you want to open the canal, so you need the nitro powder. The nitro powder is in Cornelia Castle, but it's behind a locked door, and that door can only be unlocked by the Mystic Key. The Mystic Key is in possession of the Elfin Prince in Elfheim Castle, but he's asleep, felled by a curse, I think. And the only way to waking up is by using the Jolt Tonic potion, which is owned by Matoya. Unfortunately, Matoya can't help you as much. Can't help you because she is missing an eye, the crystal eye, which is in the possession of Astos, and you can only fight Astos if you have the crown. So it's a giant fetch quest, and it's only after we obtain the nitro powder and open the canal that the story really starts to take off. These interval falls are pretty short and RNG heavy because we still only have the Knight's Armors and the Judgment staffs at this point. Later, pretty soon, we'll use the equipment glitch to get the. I'm drawing blank for a little bit. To get better armor with higher agility, so we can run away from encounters more easily. So right now, Shinbreaker has obtained the Jolt Tonic from Matoya, and is making his way towards Elfheim Castle to obtain the Mystic Key. The harbor where both runners park their ship on their way to Matoya's cave, you have two options. What you can do there with your ship movement. You can park it all the way on the right, which is relatively short ship movement, but you have some extra encounter tiles compared to when you park your ship all to the left on the dock. It's runner's preference where they park the ships. Let's see. The Shinbreaker got his Mystic Key at 16:15. Very decent time. Good start so far. And what they do now after the Mystic Key, they exit the castle and immediately re-enter the castle to obtain the Mithril hammer. And the Mithril hammer can be used to glitch, to use the equipment glitch to glitch it into thieves' armlets. And they equip it on the helmet, armor, and glove slots to vastly increase their agility and evasion, so they can run away from encounters more easily. So, whereas up until now they would have had difficulties running away from wolves, with thieves' armlets equipped, it gets much easier. So right now, Shinbreaker buys the golden needles he still required, and he also, I'm not completely sure, I also looked at Leonis' screen, but I think he skipped selling the knight's armors for now. You can basically sell your knight armors at that shop. You can also sell them somewhat later, but the reason you sell the knight's armor is because they, when you sell them, you get a lot of gold, and that gold is required to buy several things during the run. Items used for equipment glitches, ethers, spells, you name it. So right now, Shinbreaker is at the end of the initial fetch quest and got the Nitro powder, where Leonis is picking up the Mystic Key. So this is mostly where the world, exploring the world, really shall start. Since Leo did pick up the gold needles early, he doesn't need to go into Elfheim town, so he can make it after this equipment glitch. He can immediately make his way towards Cornelia. So right now, Shinbreaker is at Mount Duergar. At that mountain, the dwarves are digging the canal, but to open the canal, they need the nitro powder. And this nitro powder explosion and the opening of the canal is also a cutscene, but this cutscene this cutscene can be skipped as well. And it looks like Leonis has a bit of an unlucky encounter. The Sahagin Big Eyes encounter is a difficult encounter to run away from, and especially those big guys can paralyze your party members, which can make it somewhat difficult to run away from them. So far, the RNG has been slightly in favor of Shinbreaker, but that can easily change over the course of the run. As this run is somewhat RNG based, which is a little bit of an understatement. Basically, if the game thinks you should have good base, you get good base, and there are also times when when the game throws everything it can do to hinder you at you. So right now, Shinbreaker's past the canal. We're making our way to Earth Cave pretty soon, but before that, we make a short stop at Melmond. At Melmond, we buy steel gloves, and we use these steel gloves to glitch. We use the equipment glitch to glitch these steel gloves into the barbarian swords, and the barbarian sword is the strongest weapon in the game. Normally, you would have to beat the hardest extra dungeon in the game to get that weapon. But luckily, using the equipment glitch, we can get this overpowered weapon pretty soon, and this will make most fights in the game trivial, as we can use that weapon to one-shot most enemies, save for the boss, for the big bosses. And just as the canal is opened on Leonis' side, Shinbreaker enters Cavern of Earth. Cavern of Earth, first two floors, is a little bit of luck on how many encounters you get. The third floor, which is their current destination, is more dangerous. It has the Pisco Demon encounters. The Pisco Demons are the unrunnable bosses from the Marsh Cave earlier. They are also unrunnable here. You could also run into cockatrices. Cockatrices can petrify party members upon a hit. And if all your party members are petrified, you game over. Basically, it counts all four of them as death. So if you get a cockatrice ambush, then you really need to pray. Looks like Shinbreaker is going for the safety save at the start of floor 3. Although the cockatrice ambush is relatively rare, it is in a race setting such as this, it's still a very wise choice to do so. But yeah, the reason their destination for now is the third floor of the Earth Cavern is that there is a tablet blocking the way downwards into the Cavern of Earth, and they can only unlock it with the Earth Rod. The Earth Rod is in the Sage Cave, but you can only access the Sage Cave when you have the Star Ruby, which is also located on this floor. So that's why they go to this floor for now, to get Star Ruby. And the Star Ruby is guarded by this vampire. It's a mini-boss. Single vampire encounters are unrunnable. But here you see the power of the Barbarian Sword, as basically the boss gets one shot at. Pretty easy fight with an overpowered weapon. So Shinbreaker has the Star Ruby. The reason we need the Star Ruby to get to the Sage Cave is because there's a giant blocking the tunnel in between. Ooh! Shinbreaker got the cockatrice ambush. So he really needs to be careful with his party here, that he doesn't get fully petrified. Ooh, and he gets the runaway. Luckily, that was close. Half of his party was petrified. But he escapes in time with his mages in attacks, and he uses the gold needle to heal them, and he gets another cockatrice ambush, although 2 cockatrices isn't as bad as a 5 cockatrice ambush as he got on the encounter before this. Pretty dangerous, because, like I said, it can just kill your party. Luckily, it wouldn't matter as much for Shinbreaker because he has a safety save, but still wastes a lot of time. And he gets the unrunnable Pisco Demon encounter, and he chooses to just one-shot all 3 of them individually with the Barbarian Swords. So Shinbreaker has a little bit of luck not getting the full petrification. And he's making his way out of Cavern of Earth for now, just as Leonis is making his way towards the 3rd floor. Ooh, Shinbreaker gets a little bit unlucky by getting an 7 gargoyle ambush. That wastes a lot of time. He has to wait for all 7 attacks. Luckily, they're easy to run away from with the thieves' armlets equipped. Gets blocked by the bat. Leonis got the Wraith encounter. It's just also one of the more annoying encounters. They are difficult to run away from, and they can paralyze your party members. And if they paralyze all of them, the paralysis effects keep on stacking, so they can lock you into paralysis if you're really unlucky. And if you're in a paralysis lock, you can either die or you just waste a ton of time. So it's generally not preferred. Shinbreaker is at Giant's Cave, where he will give Star Ruby to the Giant to get passage through. And Leonis is steadily approaching the vampire. Gets several encounters. Check. Shinbreaker is ahead by 1 or 2 minutes as of now. That's due to the RNG encounter. That's due to the bad RNG encounter luck from Leonis. So right now Shinbreaker is picking up the earth rocks in the Sage Cave. Now he has to make his way all the way to the fifth floor of Cavern of Earth to fight our first crystal boss, as I would like to call them. The earth fiend, the Lich. Well, it takes several minutes to get there. They may have to make their way to the Giant's Cave again and through the first 3 floors of the Cavern of Earth. Shinbreaker's encountering a shadow encounter on the overworld, they have a high chance to have a preemptive strike encounter, which means you can immediately run away. But there's also a small chance that you get an ambush encounter, which can be really painful, as they can paralyze you. And same way as before, Shinbreaker is making his way through the cave. Getting some decent somewhat decent encounter luck, except for this one. Gets poisoned by the werewolves, so he probably has to heal that. You may notice that from Marsh Cave onwards, where they picked up the crown, they haven't really healed their warrior and thief so far. The reason for this is that they are in, about 15 minutes, they will do a leveling grind with the mages, for which they need to kill off their warrior and thief first. And that is best done if the HP of the warrior and the thief remains below 70 or 80 even. It's not that big of a stretch. Therefore HP's around 20 is somewhat optimal. Looks like Leonis as well is making his way back to the Cavern of Earth. Shinbreaker choosing to play it safe with his warrior. And going for an extra safety save on floor 3. The reason why they don't kill off their warrior and thief early is that they want them. They want the warrior and thief to get experience, to have them as strong as possible, up until the leveling grind. With all these equipment glitches, you don't really need levels that much in this run. But the reason we are going to do a leveling grind later is that we need the black mage and the white mage needs to be at a minimum level to be able to use some spells which make the game easier and faster, basically. Shinbreaker's doing a safety save before Lich. Lich can kill you because it is equipped with Blizzaga, one of the two, which can kill your party. So it's always a wise idea to go for a safety save. Looks like Leonis got a trees encounter, and Lich goes down pretty easily. You only need 2 or 3 hits. Shinbreaker got him in 2. So that's the first fiend down. Only 3 more to go. It will be a while though before we fight the next one, because there are several things you can do from this point on. First of all, you could go to the Cavern of Ice to get the Levy Stone and the airship. You could opt to go to the Citadel. You could opt to go to the Citadel of Trials, obtain the Red Steel, and get the class upgrades. Or you could go to Mount Gulk, where the Fire Fiend is. The reason the runners now, after making a short stop at Crescent Lake, will make their way to Cavern of Ice. The reason for doing so is that the airship speeds up getting everywhere massively. So that way they can get way fast, very fast to the Citadel of Trials, the Bahamut Cave, where they receive the class upgrade, and the other crystal shrines. So Leon is now on the Lich fight. Looks like he got him down, no problem as well. Yeah, after beating each fiend at a crystal, there's a half a minute cutscene, so you can get a small break as a runner in that time. Looks like Shinbreaker has landed on the shores and has made its way to Crescent Lake. At Crescent Lake, several things will happen. They buy ethers. Ethers are used to fill the MP. The MP will be, after the class upgrades and picking up the spells, MP will be used by the mages to cast the spells. And ethers heal a lot of MP, so they're advised. This is a very good place to buy them, since we have a lot of money. The other two things that will happen here is that we'll buy another item for an equipment glitch. We buy a mithril axe, and we use the mithril axe to equipment glitch the black robes on the thieves, on the thief and the black mage. These black garbs, the black garbs increase the accuracy of those two characters by such a lot that it makes it even more easier to run away from encounters, which is very much needed for Cavern of Ice. Cavern of Ice has a lot of unrunnable encounters. The encounters remain unrunnable, but the other encounters in the cave are very dangerous as well. So having some extra agility to make running away easier is a very welcome thing to have. The other thing they get is the canoe. The canoe allows them to travel across these river and lake-like water surfaces. That allows them to get to Cavern of Ice, get to Mount Gook. They can also choose to go to Mount Gook at this point, but they're going to use it to get to Cavern of Ice. It's a needed item. You also need that item to get to the Citadel of Trials if you would choose to go that way. So, whatever you decide to do after the Earth, after the Cavern of Earth, you always need to pick up the canoe, I think. So Shinbreaker is now paddling across the river towards the Cavern of Ice. The encounters on this river are really easy to run away from, especially with the combination of the thieves' armlets and the black garbs equipped. Cavern of Ice is pretty dangerous. It has Pisco Demons, which are unrunnables, Ice Gigas, which are unrunnables and can pack quite a punch. You have White Dragons, which at this point can one-shot your party if you're unlucky. They have the Cockatrices, which can fully petrify your party, and they have several spike tiles you encounter, which can be dangerous. Ooh, and Shinbreaker enters a 7 Pisco Demons fight. He uses the Judgment Staff to kill them off. Basically, if you have 3 enemies or below, you can go for single attacks, but at more enemies it's faster to use the Judgment Staff. like I mentioned before, this cave has several of the spike tiles, and one of the spike tiles contains the the evil eye. And the evil eye is one of the most one of the enemies which gives you the most XP after beating it. So it's a perfect place to grind some levels on the white mage and the black mage. But getting there is not a trivial task, because Cavern of Ice can throw a lot at you. These Mind Flayers, the Mind Flayer you saw on Shinbreaker screen can be a deceptively dangerous enemy. It's somewhat, you have a pretty decent chance to run away from it, but it can one-shot you, it can put you in paralysis lock, just like the Spectres and Wraiths almost succeeded on Shinbreaker screen. Is having another Wraith Spectre encounter. Those encounters are a little bit more difficult to run away from. And if they can hit you, well, there is a chance you get into paralysis lock. Some runners choose to kill all of these encounters for safety. Shinbreaker just went past the floor with the chest. You can't get there normally. It's surrounded by tiles, cracked tiles, so you always have to fall floor below. Ooh, looks like Leonis is having a bit of trouble with a cockatrice encounter. Almost his full party has been full petrification on Leonis' end. So that's a reset. And ooh, looks like Shinbreaker got into some trouble with the Dark Wizards, but barely escapes from it with his white mage. So whereas Leonis got really unlucky, Shinbreaker barely pulled through. Luckily, Leonis went for a safety save in Cavern of Ice, so he's not been set that far back, but it's still a painful loss. And Shinbreaker used the near party wipe to let the warrior and thief remain dead, so it would save him time on the leveling grind. Because normally you would have to wait for an attack of the Evil Eye, which then kills your thief and warrior. But since his warrior and thief are already dead, he only needed to heal up the black mage and white mage again, and could immediately start the leveling grind. So that's using a bad encounter to get some advantage on the leveling grind. Meanwhile, Leo is making his way, clawing his way back again. He's a few minutes behind, but it's still not a run race. Shinbreaker every now and then checking his menu screen to see how the leveling goes. You want you to grind your white mage and black mage to level 18 and then do one Evil Eye encounter extra. The reason for that is that they need to be level 19 when they pick up the spells, but they don't need to grind entirely to level 19 as they are doing the Citadel of Trials in between, which, well, nearly always grants them enough experience to level up. So right now, Shinbreaker picks up the Levi Stone, and he will now heal up his warrior and thief, and make his way out of Ice Cave. And meanwhile, Leonis is busy on the leveling grind. So he needs to fight Evil Eye several times more. Basically, as you exit Ice Cave, you still need to be somewhat careful because you can still get into nasty encounters. Like, for example, the Unrunnables, but also the Cockatrice ambushes. But Shinbreaker is close to the exit of Cavern of Ice and is now on a relatively safe part of the run. So right now, Shinbreaker will make his way to the Ryukan Desert to pick up the airship. After which he will go to the Citadel of Trial to get the Red Steel, which he will use to get the class upgrade from Bahamut. Bahamut is a dragon. Meanwhile, Leonis is healing up his party, and he just realized he forgot. I just noticed on the screen that the Levi Stone was still up there, I think. So I think he forgot the Levi Stone, so he has to make his way back to the floor to pick it up again, because you need the Levi Stone, otherwise you won't get the airship, and that makes the game slow. Shinbreaker is approaching the desert, getting there really soon, just dodging the encounters. And in the air you're safe, whereas you can encounter enemies on the ship, you can't encounter enemies on your airship in the air. So that makes overworld traveling also a lot safer. Yeah, and Leonis is making his way up towards the floor again. Having to fight the Evil Eye once more, so he has gotten the level, I think. Meanwhile, Shinbreaker has the airship and is headed towards the Citadel of Trials. You can't park exactly at the Citadel of Trials because you need to land on grass tiles with the airship. So you have to walk you have to take quite a walk to get to the Citadel. But still, it's much faster. It's much faster than going for the class upgrade without the airship, because otherwise you would have to make your way through a cave system to get to Bahamut, and as well as the fact that the ship is several times slower than the airship. This river that Shinbreaker is approaching is the main reason you need the canoe to get to the Citadel of Trials, because there's no other way to cross that body of water. At least not in this game. Citadel of Trials is a relatively safe place, encounter-wise. Not many unrunnable encounters you can get. Mind Flayers can be a little bit dangerous, as they pose a risk. But unrunnables you can encounter here are Minotaur zombies, green dragons, I think, dragon zombies. These Minotaur zombies, for example, are unrunnables. You'll fight a dragon zombie later, because you'll have to pass through a spike tile at one point. You also pass through Spike Tile with Nightmares. Nightmares at this point of the game are a bit tricky because they have relatively high agility. So you need a bit of luck to run away from them. It's faster to run away from enemies, of course, but if you miss running away from them, it's pretty slow. So it's a bit of a runner's choice if you choose to kill the Nightmares or not. Citadel of Trials, they pick up the Red Steel to get the class upgrades, but that's not all items they get here. They also get the Gauntlets and the Healing Staff. The Healing Staff is important because they use it to glitch the Lordly Ropes later onto the White Mage, and that increases your healing power, which is of significant importance in the Chaos fights at the end. So there they pick up the Healing Staff. They have to pass through this Nightmare Spike Tile again, which is where Shinbreaker is at now. Yeah, he just chooses to kill them. It's not that much slower, but it's faster, of course, if you succeed in running away. I mean, there are a lot of you can get a lot of encounters in Citadel of Trials, but they're not really dangerous encounters. Mostly annoying, like these Horned Devils, because casting the fire spell is somewhat slow animation. Shinbreaker's not getting lucky. This encounter is costing him quite a bit of time. And he's getting another one straight afterwards. Meanwhile, Leonis seems to be catching up quite a bit. Oh wow, with this encounter luck from Shinbreaker, Leonis is catching up big time here. Although he's now in a difficult encounter as well. Ooh, ambush by the Mind Flayers is dangerous because they can paralysis lock your party and they can one-shot characters like they did with the Warrior. They have a chance to inflict death on your party members. So Shinbreaker is taking it safe. He uses his Black Mage to wave the Judgment Staff and just kill them. And he has to heal his party somewhat because his Warrior went down. Yeah, right now Leonis is in the same room, so he's caught up several minutes. So right now Shinbreaker has the Red Steel, and then he goes into the Spike Tile in front of the throne, which is the Dragon Zombie. Dragon Zombies have a rare chance to drop Mega Elixirs, and Mega Elixirs fully heals your party's HP and MP, which can save you a lot of time in the later parts of the game. But yeah, Leonis is now closely behind. Well, quite a bit closer behind Shinbreaker than he was before. Oh. So right now, Shinbreaker is making his way towards the ship. There's one dangerous encounter you can get into in this area, which is the Sandworm. If it ambushes you and casts Earthquake, it can one-shot your party, which would be a game over. But it seems that Shinbreaker is getting through just fine. So right now, Shinbreaker is making his way to the Dragon Caves to get the class upgrade from Bahamut. Seems a bit lost where the island is currently, but has gotten to the right island right now. and down into the caves he goes. The caves are safe, completely safe, no encounters, just make the long walk towards Bahamut. And then you get the class upgrades. Warrior becomes a knight, thief becomes a ninja, white mage becomes a white wizard, black mage becomes a black wizard. And after picking up the class upgrades, the runners will pick up several spells. They pick up 3 spells. Hilara is your main heal way of healing your party. It casts heal on all your party members and is extensively used to not only faster heal your party outside of battles, but also it's used in the final boss fight to keep your party alive. They also pick up teleports, which allows them to get quicker out of dungeon floors and towns. And they pick up haste. Haste is a boost spell which boosts the speed of your party members and allows them to deal more damage to bosses. It's basically used on the last 2, more or less the last 2 boss. It's used on the last 2 boss fights of the game. But they speed those fights up. That spell speeds up those fights by quite a margin. So they pick up Hilara and teleport in Melmond, and they pick up haste here in Elfheim. After picking up after shopping for the spells, Shinbreaker and Leonis will make the way to Mount Gulk, the volcano. Mount Gulk is an interesting dungeon. There's a lot of lava tiles. The lava tiles don't have any encounters, so they want to be walking on the lava tiles as much as possible. But they lose health for each step on the lava tiles. So if they get ambushed by a strong encounter, it can get a little bit dangerous, but it depends on how safe you do this dungeon. Most people tend to go for a heal somewhere halfway. Shinbreaker is gotten into a fight with ogre mages, and I think the ogre mages are unrunnable in this configuration, because ogre mage plus hellhound is an unrunnable encounter at this point. But apparently this is also an ogre mage plus hellhound encounter. Even though there's no hellhound in it, but it still counts as that type of encounter, so it's still unrunnable to some degree. Yeah, both runners are now in the same dungeon, so they will make their way towards Marilith. Marilith is the second fiend guarding the fire crystal, which you might have guessed by looking at the location. Marilith is a pretty easy fight. She goes down in 3 hits, three maybe 4 hits if you're unlucky. And it looks like Shinbreaker uses ether on both of his mages because. So he can use Hilara with his white mage, and whoa! Looks like Leonis got to much faster Mount Gulk, and he's gotten Marilith down already, so he passes. He passes Shinbreaker. Shinbreaker now at the Marilith fight. Not too far behind Leonis. I completely missed Leonis overtaking. Because I was explaining about the safety heal by Shinbreaker. You can choose to go for a safety heal because you can get an ambush by... you can get ambushed by one of the enemies, which can one-shot your party if you're low on health. But yeah, if you go for a safety heal, then you should easily survive this. Both runners getting a sub 1 hour Meredith fight. So they're on really decent, both of them are really on decent pace. After doing Mount Gulka, there's a little bit of shopping and fetching items. First they go towards the desert caravan to buy the fairy bottle and some giant tonics. Giant fairy bottle is a story item. Giant tonic is can be used on chaos to boost the HP of your party members if they are low, to make the fight somewhat safer. Both runners are well, really close to one another. Shinbreaker taking some interesting route towards the desert caravan. It's almost there. And basically in Gaia, where Leonis is right now, you free the fairy from the fairy bottle, and he'll get you the Oxyil. Oxyil allows you to breathe underwater in the Sunken Shrine, and the Sunken Shrine is the location of the next crystal, and from the name you could already guess that it's a water-themed dungeon. And in the dungeon, they'll pick up several things. We'll get to that. Meanwhile, as Shinbreaker is making his way through Gaia towards the pond with the fairy. Meanwhile, Leonis is in Onrek. Onrek is a small town where you can find the barrel, basically a submarine, which will take you towards the Sunken Shrine. And you can only enter the barrel once you talk to this mermaid with Oxyil. So you need the Oxyil to get here. Normally you learn this in the game by talking to the NPCs across the towns, which will tell you tales of you can find this. There's rumored to have that you can find this here and there. So right now Leonis is in the Sunken Shrine. First, Sunken Shrine you can go two ways, up or down. If you go down, you get towards the Fiends, the Kraken. But first they go up. To get the Rosetta Stone, and this dungeon is filled with. I think it has a lot of unrunnable. A lot of the encounters you can get here are unrunnable. For example, these ghosts Leonis is fighting are unrunnable, but also the Sahagin configurations. The ghosts. Let's see. There was one more. And water elemental encounters are also unrunnable, I think. The reason they pick up the Rosetta Stone is because they need it to exit. It's part of a quest to get into the 4th dungeon. It looks like Leonis is getting close to the Rosetta Stone, and this is where you see the first main usage of the teleport spell, because they don't walk all those floors back, they just use teleports to teleport down several floors, so they can go downwards, downwards into the dungeon. As Shinbreaker is making his way towards the Rosetta Stone. Not too far behind, only a minute, something close to a minute behind. Slightly more, I think. So yeah, on their way to Kraken, they also stop at a room with a treasure chest to pick up the light axe, and the light axe is used to glitch the survival vests on the black mage, the ninja, and the knight. The reason so is that it boosts their agility to pretty high, so it allows them to run from encounters even more easily. You may note that Leonis is approaching the chest from the right. On the bottom side and on the left side of the chest there are spike tiles, so you always get an encounter on those tiles, so you dodge that. So he glitches the light axe into the survival vests on the ninja knight and black wizard. The healing staff that was picked up in the Citadel of Trials is used to glitch the lordly robes onto the white wizard, which you can see here. So right now, Leonis will make his way towards the Kraken. Getting the Sahagin encounters, it's a legion of Sahagins, but as long as there is a Sahagin prince or chief in it, one of the two, it's unrunnable, and it's always a mixed combination, so you can get pretty unlucky. Getting another ghost encounter, so that's also an unrunnable. But you're bound when you go through this dungeon. You're bound to get at least 2 or 3 unrunnables. Leon is now on the last floor of the dungeon. It's a long floor. It's a long walk, but at the end of the floor, the Kraken awaits. Awaits to take you down into the depths. Well, he sounds more dangerous than he actually is, since we still have the barbarian sword, and at this point, well, we're still pretty overpowered. The Kraken goes down in one round pretty easily. The survival vests also provide you ample defense for the rest of the game, more or less. So this is not the most dangerous part. That's the last dungeon. Yeah, you can see on Leonis' screen, we're severely under-leveled at this point in the game, but because of the survival vest, even a physical hit from Kraken only deals 6 hit points of damage, so we're in no danger at all in this dungeon. Following closely is Shinbreaker. He's now entering the Kraken fight. And Kraken goes down no problem on Shinbreaker's end. Did Shinbreaker only put on 1 lordly robe? I missed that. Unfortunately, I was looking at Leonis' screen. We'll see at the Chaos fight. Basically, we equip lordly robes on the gloves and on the helmet slot. So right now we're making our way to. Leonis is making his way to the Waterfall Cave. In the Waterfall Cave, we can find several things. We can find we can find the warp cube, and the warp cube is needed to get into the flying Fortress. The Flying Fortress is the 4th elemental dungeon. And to get there, you need several things. You need the chime. The chime is in a town called Lufenia. But the inhabitants of the town only speak Lufenian, so you need the Rosetta Stone we picked up in the Sun Shrine to learn Lufenian in Melmond. And the chime is used to get into Mirage Tower, and from the Mirage Tower you can get into the Flying Fortress if you have the Warp Cube. But there's also one more thing we picked up in this waterfall cave. We'll do our second to last equipment glitch to get the ribbon. The ribbon protects against all status ailments, against all things such as instant death, petrification, poison, sleep, you name it. So we'll glitch that onto all of our characters, but we first need to glitch the Gigant Axe on the warrior, because you need that item to glitch your ribbons on all the slots in the party. This spike tile, as you enter the treasure room, is a bit dangerous. It's the last tile you can get petrification on, because it has an encounter with Cockatrices and Pyrolisks. Pyrolisks can instant death party members, but as long as you don't have an ambush, you should be fine, because it's pretty easy to run away at this point. Pretty fast menuing from Leonis. He got the ribbons on all his party members and then picks up the Warp Cube. And then he will use teleport spell to get out of the cave. So right now he will make his way to the airship, and then he will go to Melmond. Shinbreaker is not too far behind. Still within decent range from Leonis. He does have to go through the equipment glitch right now. Leonis stopping at Melmond to talk to Dr. Un. Dr. Un is a researcher who will learn you, who can teach you Lufenian once you show him the Rosetta Stone. And apparently you can learn a ancient language in a couple of seconds. If only it were that simple in real life. And right now, Leonis is making his way towards Lufenia. You have to park your airship pretty far away, because almost all the tiles in between are either forest or swamp tiles on which you can't park your airship. The reason we choose to go through the lake is because outside of the lake you can encounter unrunnables such as Minotaur zombies. You can't encounter them on the lake, so you can run away from all the encounters on the lake pretty easily. Leonis got an encounter with 3 Minotaur zombies. Any encounter with Minotaur zombies is unrunnable at this point, so you want to see as little Minotaur zombies as possible, as few Minotaur zombies as possible. Leonis is getting another Minotaur zombie encounter. He's almost at Lufenia. Looks like Shinbreaker is catching up by a little bit up until now, because he isn't getting any Minotaur zombies, which allows him to run away pretty easily from his encounters. So right now, Leonis got the chime from the Fenians, and he will now make his way towards the Mirage Tower. Mirage Tower isn't too far away from the airship, but you only need to fly past the mountain range and park next to the desert, and then after that it's a short walk to the Mirage Tower. Meanwhile, Shinbreaker has also picked up the chime. And it's gonna depend on the RNG whether Shinbreaker can catch up. And it looks like Leonis got into an ambush, so far Shinbreaker is catching up by quite a margin because he hasn't had as much Minotaur zombie encounters as Leonis did, and Leonis gets another one. It's getting really close between the two runners as of now. They're not too far apart. They're a handful of tiles apart. Ooh, and Shinbreaker tried to run from the Minotaur zombies. Probably in a reflex. Press the L and the R button. He will now use the Judgment Staff to kill the Minotaur zombies, which allows Leonis to get a little bit farther ahead once more. Mirage Tower has quite a bit of encounters. It has a high encounter rate, especially the second floor. But they're all encounters you can run away from. It's just that you have a high encounter rate. Nothing you can do about. Looks like Leonis got a bit unlucky with his Guardian encounter. You can run away from these, but he's a bit unlucky. Wow, he's getting an ambush by vampires. Fun fact, only single vampires are unrunnable encounters, so if you encounter 3 vampires, you can just run away from them. Because a single vampire is a mini-boss, that's why a single vampire is unrunnable. Cockatrices at this point in the run aren't a threat anymore. Because they can't petrify you because you have the ribbons equipped on all your party members. Instant death effects are also ignored by ribbon. But it still looks like Shinbreaker is not that far behind. Leonis is now on the Spike Tile. The Spike Tile has a blue dragon. And the blue dragon is unrunnable, but he goes down in 1 hit of the Barbarian Sword. And looks like Leonis meshed with the Barbarian Sword, meshed with the Judgment Staff, which didn't kill it in 1 hit. So right now, it's a dead tie. Shinbreaker has completely caught up to Leonis and is now pulling ahead as Leonis gets another encounter before the Warp Tile. So right now they're in the Flying Fortress. Flying Fortress also has a somewhat higher encounter rate than several unrunnables, such as the Evil Eye. At the last floor of this dungeon, right before Tiamat, the Elemental Fiends, there's a 1 in 64 chance they can encounter the Warmech. The Warmech gives you a ton of experience for dealing it, so if you get that encounter you can just farm on it and then you should have enough levels. Yeah, right now we're really close. The races are really really close to one another. They're on the same floor. So now it depends a bit on encounter luck. So from the looks of it, this race will be decided on the Chaos Shrine. This dungeon isn't that dangerous. If you're unprepared, the Warmech can cause you a lot of pain. Let's see if one of the runners gets a war mech. Looks like both runners get at least an air elemental encounter on the last floor, and Shinbreaker is having a little trouble running away from it, but still the runners are within 15 seconds of one another. And they now enter the Tiamat fight. Tiamat, still pretty easy boss. Goes down, requires some barbarian sorted, but goes down without too much of a problem. And it looks like Shinbreaker caught up on the Tiamat fight. Both runners within 2 to 3 seconds of one another. There's still a chance they can encounter a war mech right before the warp out. Oh yeah, we'll see. Basically, the runners are synced, and right after this dungeon they go to Chaos Shrine, the last dungeon of the game. So the quest is Garland, the enemy that was fought at the beginning of the game, has gone back in time and sent the elemental fiends forwards, which send him back in time. So basically there's a time loop. There's a time loop created by him. And our quest is to break this time loop and restore peace and order to the world. To do that, we have to travel 2,000 years into the past to defeat, because Garland got sent there. And Garland will use the power of the fiends to fight us in the form of the god Chaos, the final boss of this game, obviously. But on our way to Chaos, we will fight the 4 upgraded versions of the elemental fiends, as well as potentially encounter a lot of unrunnables or other difficult encounters. Chaos Shrine is pretty dangerous. It's completely random. Chaos Shrine take authentic Chaos Shrine gifts, and Chaos fight itself is not free as well, because Chaos can give you RNG that can kill you. It's not completely safe, that fight. Looks like Shinbreaker went for a safety save at the start of the dungeon. Pretty wise decision. Everyone goes for at least a safety save at the start, I guess. Looks like Leonis went for it as well. But yeah, green dragons, all dragons except for white dragons are unrunnables, purple worms are unrunnables, ice gigas are unrunnables, and several more enemies are unrunnable. The elementals, except air elementals, are unrunnable. Purple worms are somewhat the nicer unrunnable encounters, because they give a lot of experience, and you want your black mage and your ninja to have a minimum of 250 HP, so 250-60 HP, so they can tank a hit from Chaos. And I'm gonna open the IRC real quick, so I can see their SRL times. Give me a sec. There we go. So yeah, the Shinbreakers passed a mini boss, the Deadeye. Deadeye is pretty easy, goes down in one hit. Barbarian sorted. Looks like Shinbreaker got the ice gigas. They're unrunnable because of the lordly robes. The magic of the white mage is boosted, so only the white mage can kill this encounter in one hit. The black mage can't, So it's faster to defend with the black mage and only use judgment staff with your white mage if you get that encounter. So right now, Shinbreaker got the dragon zombie encounter. Choosing to strike all of them down with barbarian sword strikes. For the people in chat, the SRL times in the race channel will be used to determine the winner of this match, according to the tournament rules. Shinbreaker got the white dragon encounter, Leonis as well. White dragons are not unrunnable, but if you fail to run away from them, they can deal a lot of damage to you. And they are also sometimes called the double dragons because they cost double drop our former world record holder several of his runs. And yeah, this is a really close race so far. So right now Shinbreaker is on the Lich 2 floor, where he will refight Lich. Meanwhile, Leonis is having some trouble with the white dragons, choosing to use the judgment staff to kill them off. And looks like Leonis got an earth elemental encounter, so he is. It's a rare one. It's also unrunnable. Looks like Shinbreaker got one as well, allowing Leonis to catch up by a little bit. I think Leonis reaches Lich first, and Shinbreaker is not too far behind, but gets another encounter. He's choosing to take it safe and do an additional heal, as Lich is down on Leonis' end. So yeah, at this point RNG will decide the outcome of this race, as the amount of encounters as well as the luck they get from Chaos at this point will... Shinbreaker got the red dragons, they are also unrunnable. And it looks like Leonis is getting decent encounter luck on this Meredith floor, as it has given him a slight lead on Shinbreaker. Leo is pulling all the stops at this point. He's not doing safety heals. Kraken took floor with Kraken is notorious. You can the water elementals are unrunnable, and there's a pretty high chance you encounter water elementals. Yeah, indeed, as pointed out by chat, Leo's white mage is in pretty decent shape with 450 HP and a lot of MP. Looks like Shinbreaker is getting a water elemental encounter. So far Leo hasn't, but he's gotten his first water elemental just as I say that. but from the looks of it, the Ninja and Black Mage of Shinbreaker are in slightly better shape HP-wise than Leo's is, as Leo is now fighting the Kraken. Kraken is, well, not a hard fight. Goes down in 2 rounds. As Shinbreaker is not getting good encounter RNG. He's getting several water elemental encounters, which are slow because you have you most likely have to use your judgment staff to kill those. Ooh, and he gets one more right before Kraken, just as Tiamat, as Leo enters the Tiamat fight. Tiamat is the first time we use haste. We use this to boost our ninja, and that allows for a 2 rounds. It's not a guaranteed 2 round because it's a bit. You need a bit of luck because if your Black Mage is faster than your ninja, you can get a 2 round because then your ninja receives the boost right before the attack. Yeah, Tiamat is down on Leo's end, just as Kraken goes down on Shinbreaker's end. So yeah, right now Leo is on the final floor of the game, taking a safety heal, ethering his mages to the max. He can choose. He needs to do an. He is going to do an equipment glitch using gauntlets to glitch the golden staff onto the white mage, which allows for even more healing power. And it unequips the thief's armlet from the white mage, which basically guarantees that he will go last, which allows him to heal our party at the end of each turn, which optimizes our chances of survival. So right now, Leo has entered the chaos fight, just as Shinbreaker is doing the glitch on the equipment glitch and the heals on the floor. So yeah, Leo is using giant tonics on both his ninja and his black mage. At least one of these two can be skipped by Shinbreaker, but Leo is quite a margin ahead, so he's in good shape to win this race. And HPs on Leo's end are also really high, so he should theoretically be completely fine, unless his white mage goes down. Right now, I missed an accidental attack on Shinshin, apparently. So Leo is getting pretty close to the end of this fight. He can go down any second now. And it's time on Leo's end. He finished in a 134.28. SRL posts a 134.30 for Leo. So good run, GG, and a nice win by Leo. Meanwhile, Shinbreaker is still going. Is bound to finish not that far behind. Oh my! He has. It looks like Shinbreaker actually did 2 giant tonics on the Black Mage. 999. And Chaos can go down any second now on Shinbreaker stream, and Chaos is down on Shin stream. 135.53. SRL reports a 135.54. So GG, both runners finishing only 1.5 minutes apart from each other. So right now I'm waiting for both runners to join the voice chat to get an after race interview. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay. I'm now joined by our contestants. First of all, Leonis, congratulations on your win.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. I still don't realize what happened.
Well, first of all, I'm hearing an echo on one of the streams.
Yeah, sorry, it was me.
We'll fix it. Anyways, you had a. It seems, Leo, that you had a slightly rough start, RNG wise.
I mean, I had just had my chat, and I was I was ashamed about what I was doing. Like from the very start, I was like, "This isn't happening. This is not. I'm supposed to represent FF1 for the FF relay, and I'm just putting that into the screen." I was like, "No, you gotta be kidding me!" And Ice Cavern, I think I will remember that Ice Cavern for the rest of my.
Yeah, it's. Most of us consider it a miracle you pulled through, because that was a rough ice cavern by any runner's standard. I think. So, yeah, last half of the game you really got up. Shin.
Yeah, very surprised. Shin, I don't know about you.
I gotta say, I had a little bit of a lead, and then the ice cavern, when I heard that you had died, I thought, well, okay, this is gonna be, this is probably my race then. I felt kind of bad that, all the hype was gonna be gone. But then I had that Citadel Trials where I lost 3 minutes and 16 seconds to my PB. It was just brutal.
Yes.
And that's when he passed me up, and then we had some excellent back and forth, and I started getting some text messages. I wasn't paying real good attention. I made some little map movement errors here and there, and in the end, I think my little map movement errors, my equipment errors, and then my final fight just messing up everywhere. I really cost myself the run later on, just combined with the RNG kind of switching who it was with, and then just my execution toward the end. You won it, and you deserve to.
Yeah, it's
Well, I don't know if I deserve to win with forgetting the Levistone. Please excuse me. I don't think anyone
yeah, you
has
did.
ever forgotten that item in any run. That's not. Well,
It's see,
bleh.
I
basically,
actually forgot the crown briefly.
Oh wow.
Yeah. basically, it seemed that you two traded RNG somewhere around Citadel of Trials.
Mm,
But anyway, so Shin, this was still winners. This was still winners bracket, right? I forgot to check.
Yes, this was actually the first round because I was out of town last week. So this was actually we were the last
yeah.
best of 16.
Okay.
Yeah,
so-
and we were supposed to run last night, and I'm gonna say that if I had really bad luck in the race today, I had really bad luck in real life yesterday because my stream wouldn't load. I hadn't enough bitrate to even do something with it, and like past Garland, if I remember correctly, power outage for 3 hours.
Oh wow.
So we had to postpone for today, and kind of crazy.
Okay. This may seem a little bit rude, but I'm gonna ask crew to step in because I also need to set up really soon because my race is shortly afterwards. I also need to set up. I jumped in at the last minute, so we're welcomed by crew. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you
Oh,
for
hey there.
commentating the last race. Congratulations, Leo. Let's.
Oh wow.
I guess we'll schedule our match soon enough.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm bound to have that kind of run again, don't even fear for your place.
I'll be.
I mean, it was the ambush festival all around the place. Ponyland into the waterfall cabin. I've never seen that. I mean, I don't know how many ponies I've encountered throughout the run. And that fucking Levistone. I'm gonna remember it.
Yeah, that race was, it was a rough race for both of us. I think that makes for a good race, though. And I think I'm actually going to stick around. I think I'm going to be doing commentary on this next race. But I wanted to thank everybody. I want to thank you, most of all, Leo, for racing me today. That's been super, super fun. I want to thank Box for the commentary.
Thanking you because you had to postpone for me at the very last minute and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for
retroactively accept that forfeit? No. Yeah. And good luck on your next race. Stay in the winners bracket. So.
Yeah. Maybe I will get to see you back down there.
Well, we'll hope you get to stay up top.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope so too.
Alrighty, and coming up next, in just a minute, we're going to be having another race. So,
and this should be a particularly interesting one at that. We have Double Drop versus Boxmeister. I mean, Double Drop being the former world record holder of the game, former now with Sigma having beaten his record yesterday, versus a new runner who has already managed to, beat Aosabe during the group stage. So we've got two really solid runners, two runners with a lot of potential. So it should definitely make for an interesting match.
And I'm actually queuing up that RTMP stream real quick. So
it looks like we've got Double doing some early menuing practice while Box is getting set up.
Excellent. And so, yeah, for everyone who just got to listen to watch that previous race that I was just in, Box was the one doing the commentary. So I want to give a big shout out to him for just going straight from talking about the game to setting up very quickly to run this race. Everyone make sure to give him a follow, too, along with Double.
Yeah, now this match today is going to be especially important for both of the runners because they are already both in the losers bracket right now, meaning that the one that loses is the one going out of the tournament today. I think this is the first the first match where we'll actually see somebody leave the tournament since the double elimination started. So let's see who's going to be the first one to leave the last 16. It looks like Boxmeister's stream is just about ready.
Yep. All right, for anyone just joining us, since we're starting a new game, we are gonna go ahead and explain how some of these glitches work up front.
Hey, it looks like Boxmeister's pretty much set up as Double goes for what may very well be his last bit of practice on the menuing.
Well, if anyone needs work on menuing in this game, it is Double Drop, you know.
You wouldn't be preparing for a race if it wouldn't involve at least 10 times going through that first menu.
Yeah, some days we just have trouble with this. So some days I'll go through all the menu, no trouble at all. Today's race, I was having a horrible time going left. And just some days, there's a direction that just doesn't work for you.
Yeah, and then you've got runners like Double that are so well known with these menus that just get them done without any sweat, and it's just amazing to see somebody like him menu. Because honestly, when it comes down to the menuing, Double Drop is probably just flat out the best player on the board at the moment. So
absolutely. And I mean, fast menuing, you know, it has to do with the consistency of this game. I mean, the people who consistently get the top times consistently have the best map movement and menuing, while RNG in a given run will more than make up for menuing. As far as having consistently be able to make it through one of these tournaments really far, you're gonna have to, you know, have some amount of consistency on this race.
yeah, and in that regard, it's definitely looking favorable for Double Drop because of how consistent he is with the game. Granted, you know, RNG is going to play a role in a game like this, but over the course of the runs that these guys are doing, you know, the amount of execution involved still plays a very big role regardless, and in that, Double definitely has the advantage. Okay, it looks like Boxmeister is completely set up. Looks like he's hoping for some good pace. You might notice a bit of a weird order in his names there, but he's actually named them in such a way that starting about a third into the run, a little bit less even, the names are going to work out exactly the way that he wants to get the line out there. Double just going with some random names, setting up fast just as he gets started with the tournament match. And I think with that, it's basically a short wait for the countdown, and we can have our match started.